Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Boxing Unwrapped. It's Boxing Unwrapped. Probably the quickest boxing podcast you'll listen to this week. I'm Ryan.
I'm Andrew. We hope, Ryan.
We hope. It never is, guys. It never is.
We come with more hope than expectation.
Totally. So, guys, welcome to What the F is the Boxing News, the weekly show that is struggling through the summer to tell you everything that's going on in the world of boxing. I just want to remind everybody, guys, please, if you're a listener and you've come across our show for whatever reason, and you didn't know, we do have a Facebook page at Boxing Unwrapped, and we do have a Twitter at Boxing Unwrapped. Please make sure you follow us because we do share stuff up there from time to time. So, make sure and give us a follow. But, Andy, do you want to tell the good people what we've got in store this week?
Absolutely hee-haw. That's what we've got in store for them this week. There's nothing to talk about, so we'll just be random gibbering for the episode. I am, of course, joking. We will briefly touch upon what the F are the results from last week, although not a huge amount to cover. What are the fights this weekend? And there's one big one, for sure, starting to build the attention wagon. We'll look at what went wrong last week, couple of little things to point at. We're going to, of course, look at a rather substantial section of random news, and it's all kicking off all over the place. And then, of course, that moves us nicely on to what grinds our gears. And we'll finish off with some listener corner.
Nice. Well, let's dive into what the F are the results from last week.
I'm shadow boxing as we speak, Ryan. I'm shadow boxing as we speak.
Oh, ready for it.
Should we start from the dingy function suite of a Glasgow hotel?
Oh, indeed. Cash Farooq versus Duane Winters.
Do you know what? Well, I'm tired. I'm tired. Do you know what I'm tired of?
What are you tired of?
I'm tired of predicting the future.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
Someone said to me when I asked them about something at work, and they said to me, "My balls are hairy. They're not crystal." Well, I think my balls might be hairy and crystal because we keep getting stuff right.
It's so right. Like, I mean, Duane Winters, obviously, this is the first time he's fighting at this weight. He was not, they said he came in 2 pounds under as well. So he must have been deranged.
That's a Yeah, so someone's not to set the timer in the sauna for that one, have they? Someone's going, how long have you been in here? This timer's not working. Timer's broken.
Fucking hell,
Duane, you've been in here 4 hours, pal. You better get out of the sauna.
Totally. For him to be 2 pounds underweight at bantamweight, that is fucking super late, because that's not even his natural weight. So I think you could probably tell within that first round he was pretty sluggish. The guy was gassed after about 30 seconds and he didn't throw any punches.
And they do say that when you're weight drained, you are vulnerable to the body shots because you have no fluid. They're just hitting organ mass directly.
And you could totally see that. I mean, when Cash Farooq hit him with that liver shot, he was down and out and done. That was him. He was not getting up. And obviously, it's a good thing that Cash Farooq has managed to win that belt outright, the Lonsdale belt. He's won it outright, fantastic. But that is not victory, right? All the commentary, they were like, boy just gets better and better every time I watch it. And I watch him fight, and I was like, well, because he's quite a young fighter, you would hope that would be the case, right? You would hope he'd be improving fight on fight. But also, this was not a test for him. This was an easy, who can we line up so that he can claim the belt outright and, look a winner and then move him up? We talked about Duane Winters' record, and although it looked relatively solid, they were all last-minute defeats. It was all points wins. So he was never going to be any trouble, was he?
No, and we did say specifically that if he's fighting at the wrong weight division at 32, trying to get down to weight, is going to half kill him, which it clearly did. But anyway, I think taking the positives out of it, Farooq does look really nice. He's got this kind of super like fluid, elusive style about him, and he does love a bob and a weave, doesn't he? He looks really good doing his bobbing and weaving. Hard to hit.
Yeah, he moves about nicely. He does move about nicely.
Moves about very well, but it's I do take the point that it's hard to make a firm judgment on the basis that he was fighting an out of gas man.
Ah, fucking hell, man! The gas was empty in his tank. In Duane's tank.
Duane's tank was running on empty for sure.
Yeah, but first looking forward,
yes,
there, this kind of mandatory challenger, Lee McGregor, Lightning McGregor from Edinburgh.
Yes, and he is a proper opponent. He's another super exciting upcoming prospect. He's no gas man. He's going to present, I think, more of a stern test. He's very highly touted in his own right. So, and it's one of these ones where it's nice if up and coming prospects agree to fight each other, before they get to world level, which is what they would both be doing. So, I think it'd be good. I think it'd be very interesting to see, and it'd be good for probably Scottish boxing, like publicity, Scottish boxing interest for these two to fight, because they both bring a lot of attention.
It depends where they put it on. Do you think they'll probably I would like this to be on a bigger undercard. You know what I mean? Like an actual bigger undercard in Scotland. For like a much bigger fight. Because of course, you could make this like a headline in the Emirates Arena or in a fucking dingy hotel, somewhere like Trump Turnberry or something. But actually, if you could put these guys both on a bit of a stage, on an undercard, I think it would be a nice fight for that actually. But
Saudi.
Well, I hear they're in the bidding, man. They're fucking tenders for every fight, man. Fucking hell, Christ.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it'd be it'd be nice to get some very high level exposure. But we'll see. Hopefully it gets made, and then we'll see kind of where they put it. But yeah, hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah.
The only other fight of note, the predictable as it was, uneventful third round stoppage win for Emmanuel Navarette versus Francisco da Vaca. This was his gimme, and he took it. He took the gimme and battered da Vaca into a pulpy surrender, as was expected.
Indeed,
because da Vaca is not very good.
Indeed.
Next.
Right. Next. Well, should we?
We're flying, man. We're going through this fast.
It's so quick, but it'll slow down, especially now, because it is time for our newest segment, the 6 Degrees of Danny Williams.
Oh fuck.
And listeners, right? I actually reached out to Danny Williams on LinkedIn last week, actually, to try and invite him on the show. He's declined for the time being, right? But I was like, we do have. Please give us some feedback on the 6 Degrees of Danny Williams, man. Because the guys that he is, I personally, I really feel he's a very unsung hero of British boxing, actually. Personally.
Right.
I do. I think he's an unsung hero. Well, because think about it. If you look at, the people he's fought in comparison to some of the people that, modern heavyweights
he certainly
fighting.
doesn't protect his O.
No.
He doesn't protect his O.
Not at all. Not at all. So, Andy, this week your challenge is to get from Mr. Andy Ruiz Jr. to Danny Williams. Now, this can be done in 4 steps, and there is a linchpin, which is a gatekeeper fighter, which will get you to where you need to be.
Right. Okay. I think there must be more than one way to do this.
I'm sure there's a million ways. I've got one definitive, but there's probably 6 or 7 ways. After you get the first step, I think there's probably about 1 million ways.
Oh. Now, I know he fought... So there was obviously the fight versus Parker.
Yes.
One of them. Is that your way? No.
No, that is not
okay.
my way.
Okay, that's fine. Well, it's not fine. Ideally, that would have been the right answer. But who was the other boy you fought? Was it Ustinov? Is it Ustinov?
So the person that I have gone via is
Give me a clue. You can give me a clue.
He is a hard-headed gatekeeper fighter.
Oh, is it not Duhaupas or did he fight him? Oh,
who is a friend of this show.
Areola.
No, who should retire and has retired, but has maybe come back.
Kevin Johnson.
It is Mr. Kevin Johnson. It is indeed.
Right, okay.
Now, there's probably 1 million ways to do this, but I've done it in one particular way.
I don't think... Has Ruiz fought Ustinov? Did I get that wrong? Not Ustinov. Did I mean Dimitrenko? I think I meant Dimitrenko.
You meant Dimitrenko, yeah.
I meant Dimitrenko, who he fought not that long ago. Right, okay. Okay, sorry, Kevin Johnson. Well, Kevin Johnson's fought everyone. Kevin Johnson's not fought Danny Williams, no?
No.
Interesting. Kevin Johnson's... I think I've worked out a really convoluted way to do it.
Okay.
Kevin Johnson's fought... Did he not fight... was it Vitaly? He fought a Klitschko, hasn't he?
Yes.
Vladimir. Did he
No.
Vladimir Klitschko?
No.
He fought Vitaly Klitschko.
He did fight Vitaly Klitschko, and that is your next step.
I love the way you're rooting for me. You're getting excited. Vitaly Klitschko, did he beat... Has he fought Derek Chisora?
He has fought Derek Chisora, actually, yeah.
Right, well, I surely can do it from there.
You can?
Has Derek Chisora fought Danny Williams? No.
Derek Chisora has fought... I'm sure he's fought Danny Williams, but let me just double check. Hold on.
Because that would be it.
That would be it. There is also another way, right, that I'd done it. Now, little known fact...
Well, hold on, can I just bask in getting this right?
Right, okay, hold on.
If I'm right.
Hold on.
Has Chisora fought Danny Williams? I think he has.
Hold on. I'm trying to go down his record. It's so long.
It is so long.
It's so long. Has he fought Danny Williams? No, he hasn't fought Danny Williams. Has he? No. Derek Chisora has not fought Danny Williams.
Are you 100% sure? I think Derek Chisora...
Oh, no, he has fought Danny Williams. You're absolutely right. Yeah, there we go. He has fought. So you can go that way. But you could have gone, Andy. You could have gone via Vitaly Klitschko, because Vitaly Klitschko has fought Danny Williams.
Oh, fuck me.
Danny Williams fought Vitaly Klitschko in 2004 at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino.
He beat Tyson, didn't he? He beat Tyson and then he got his title shot. Is that what it was?
Yeah. It's unbelievable. You go down Danny Williams' record and you're like, holy fucking shit, I can't believe he fought him. What a fucking legend. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
One day you're, losing to... One day you're losing to the tally. Klitschko, the next day, you're beating Audley Harrison.
I know. It's unbelievable. Huh? It's unbelievable.
That is... Oh, mate, that's surprising. Right.
Yeah, it is surprising.
Good.
So there we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I forgot that. Yeah, no, I did. Now you mentioned it, I was like, oh man, could have done it quicker. Anyway, fine, got there without too much hoo-ha.
Exactly. So now that your blood pressure is returned to normal levels, let's move on to what are the fights this weekend.
Yeah, right. So the fights this weekend. There is a DAZN and Sky Sports card, but let's first we did mention it last week. But
Let's talk about the
Russia.
BT. Oh man, let's talk about Russia. Let's talk about Kovalev versus Yarde. Let's break down the tail of the tape, shall we?
Go on.
So, Anthony Yarde, 28, 6 foot, coming off of 18 fights, 17 by the way of knockout. Orthodox, hailing from Ilford in Essex, versus Sergei, the Crusher Kovalev, who is aged 36, 6 foot, 33 fights, 3 losses, 1 draw, 28 knockouts. Twice Sergei Kovalev has been knocked out himself, residing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So I think actually, I don't want to jinx it, right? But I do have like a bit of a feeling about Yarde, actually. You know,
Do you have a feeling about Yarde? Yeah,
I do have a feeling about Yarde. Now that will probably mean, because whenever we talk about who I have a feeling for, they tend to lose. But they do.
You've not got like a pristine prediction record, it has to be said.
I don't. I think it's the gods trying to stop me from betting my money away. But obviously we've talked about Yarde's like needing to step up, and people question his how padded his record is. Obviously, he just knocks fucking boys out almost immediately. But he's a lot younger. He's hungrier. He's an absolute tank of a man. He's 6 foot wide.
Power.
He's 6 foot wide, man. And Kovalev is a lot older. He is a lot older.
There's evidence. I think it's fairly clear that Kovalev's best days are behind him. So, is it a good time to catch him? So people are reeling out a lot of the time that Kovalev's lost. Is it 3 of his last 6? So the double headers against the back-to-back defeats against Ward, although at least the first one was highly contentious against and then the defeat not contentious where he got pummeled by Eleider Alvarez. But then of course he avenged that defeat with a kind of pretty much a pretty impressive boxing show.
Yeah.
But I don't think Alvarez is that great shakes, to be honest. He looked pretty pedestrian in the rematch anyway. But so I think they're saying like, well, Yarde's on the up, Kovalev's on the slide. Kovalev's had some.
He's got miles on the clock as well. Like he's got a lot of miles on the clock.
He does have miles on the clock for sure. I was gonna say that he's got like. I think he's had various kind of like mental health problems, and people talk. I think there's been chat about him having like. Maybe like addiction problems and things like that, and then there was the stuff surfaced about the allegations about him being abusive. So I don't know. There's a lot of like stuff surrounding Kovalev, so I don't know kind of where he is or what kind of condition he'll be in. But I think given his craft and his boxing nous and his experience, I think it's still, whatever way you cut it, and going into the Lions Den, fighting away, etc. Yarde's, being stupid or brave, he's taking a gamble that he didn't need to take. But then again, as you like to say, he will be getting a swimming pool full of cash for doing so.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think the thing is, it's a win-win situation for Yarde. Because if he loses, I mean, as long as he doesn't get completely destroyed,
yeah,
I don't think anybody's going to go, oh, yeah, that's the end of him. No, he's just a hype job. I think they'll have gone, well, he went up against Kovalev and he really hasn't fought anybody of any note yet. So I think it is a really interesting one for him. And I fancy him, man. I do fancy him for this. Like, the only thing that I'm worried about for Yarde is if Kovalev tries to box him. Because he's never really yet had to box that much. And that could be an issue. Unless maybe in this camp they've gone, oh, look, Anthony, we need to teach you this thing called boxing over the next 12 weeks. Okay.
I take your point. Yeah, he's not had to sort of demonstrate a huge amount of ring craft because he's just been like bouncing boys around the ring, which I don't suppose Kovalev's too crafty and carries too much power for him to do. But I mean, I guess it's also about the unknowns are, I don't know, Yarde's engine and his chin.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, I think he'll definitely have spells in the fight where he causes Kovalev lots of problems. But it's whether he does that consistently enough. And it's saying, like, I think, well, like, I'm just looking at the odds as we're speaking. And, yeah, I was saying, I think there will be spells where he causes him problems. But, yeah, the odds are showing that, like, basically, it's a 60-40 fight is what the odds say in Kovalev's favour. But they think... The odds makers think that Yarde has almost no chance of winning by points, winning on points, 12, 11 or 12 to 1 to win on points, versus even money to win by KO, TKO or disqualification. So there's basically saying Kovalev wins probably by... Yeah, Kovalev could win either way, but Yarde can either win... by KO, or he's not going to win. They're saying that's his route to victory, which is interesting. But I could see, I mean, because Alvarez dispatched him, and obviously when he hurt him, that was it. Like he knocked him down, and then he was, he never recovered, and he was able to get him out. And I think Yarde looks to me at least as powerful. He looks to have genuine power. So if he gets a spell where he can land on Kovalev, you think with the miles on the clock, maybe, I don't know. This makes it actually a very interesting fight.
I agree. I really agree. So
I would actually really quite like to watch this, but I'm going to be stranded in the middle of a fucking log instead.
I'm gonna have to watch it the following day. I've got a fucking thing to go to. I'm a bit fucking annoyed. I'm a bit annoyed, but these things happen, man. It's like there's been fuck all boxing, and then like as soon as like there's good boxing happening, like I've got to do shit, which is frustrating.
I know.
And I've then got to just like turn my phone off and just not let anybody speak to me for like a day.
Well, that'll make your social engagement much more entertaining. If you're like, well, don't talk to me.
Yeah, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me, please.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. I'm really watching the boxing. Well, we're so glad you came, Ryan. We're so glad you're here. You're really adding to the occasion with your charisma and wit.
I guess worse because next week I've got to go to a thing, and it's the fucking Lomachenko fight.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know what?
I'm here.
I'm so gutted. I was so gutted. I was like, is there a way of like coming down with like dysentery or something?
That's a shame. Well, I'm going to watch that one. I'll be sat in my prime viewing seat watching Lomachenko. But this weekend, yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to have to catch up afterwards. I can't even remember what the co-main event is. I did write it down at some point, and then I've forgotten what the co-main event is. Oh, I remember now. Ilunga Makubu versus Alexei Papin is the co-main event for the Kovalev Yarde one. This is
okay.
I think Papin's unbeaten, and Makubu we might remember as being vanquished by Bellew back in the day.
Oh, right, okay.
In the cruiserweight division, but Papin's got an unbeaten record, but is not particularly highly touted. So I think that's a bit of a not particularly high level. And I don't think there's much else in terms of the card, the Kovalev Yarde undercard, that's particularly exciting.
No. Dazn?
Yes.
Dazn.
Card from Mexico, and like Hearn's rolling out. So what was that?
That was my kind of like, kind of Mexican noises that they do. I don't know, restaurants.
Like it.
Yeah.
So, Juan Francisco, you threw me with your noises. I can't get back on track. Estrada is fighting. He's, we all know him as he's a pound for pound, one of the top fighters. Fighting another Duane. This one is actually spelled Duane. Duane Beamon. Duane. Duane's gonna get beaten by Estrada, so it's not gonna. I think he's gonna get beaten fairly comprehensively, but Estrada's fun to watch. Liam Smith and Jono Carrol are both on the undercard to this fight.
I think this is supposed to be Jono Carroll's final fight.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think he's retiring after this. I think this was his last camp because of what happened at MSG. I think that's him.
That's him. Okay.
So.
Okay. Okay. And also, my boy Filip Hrgović is fighting on the undercard.
Hrgović!
He's fighting the highly renowned and highly acclaimed Mario Yarde. Now, that stuff that I said about Yarde just then, that wasn't true. Yarde's actually terrible, and this is a completely pointless fight. And he's gonna like knock him out in like 1 or 2 rounds, and I don't know why he's bothering. He needs to be stepping up a little bit because we want to see him tested and extended, and this is not the fight that's going to do it.
No, it's not. But I mean, Eddie Hearn has a lot of Dazn cards to put on, so he's just got to keep throwing people in rings. Basically,
true that story.
Well, let's move on then to what the F went wrong last week.
Just a couple of points. I made this big hoo-ha song and dance sounding all knowledgeable and stuff about Isaac Dogbay and saying how what I said was that Emmanuel Navarette, who we just mentioned, had beaten him. I meant to say not once but twice to prove he had his number, but I said not twice but once, which makes no sense at all.
Oh shit!
Sorry guys. Sorry about that one. And we kind of made I think we were sort of getting ourselves we couldn't quite remember the sequence of events with who'd fought Danny Williams in terms of, and then John McDermott appearing. So John McDermott was like the ex-British heavyweight champ who contentiously got defeated by Tyson Fury and then lost to Tyson Fury more comprehensively the second time around. But he's not the taxi driver. The taxi driver was Martin Rogan, and we were talking kind of about different things. But anyway, McDermott was like a bona fide British level professional boxer who should have at least one notable scalp in Tyson Fury, but didn't get awarded the decision, as we've talked about before.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was it. That was it. I just thought, just a bit of clarity around that point, if you will.
Yeah. Well, then let's move on to some random news. And there is there's some good shit actually. So, recently announced, Ted Cheeseman versus Scott Fitzgerald in Newcastle.
Yes.
And I like this card, man. I like this. This is like,
you like this?
I like this card. It's a good British thing. I actually think that if the Scott Fitzgerald that comes out against Anthony Fowler comes out against Cheeseman, he batters Cheeseman all day long around it. Because I think Cheeseman is fucking pants, actually. I think he's overhyped. But I think Lewis Ritson's on this as well. He's fighting Robbie Davies Jr. So it's October 19th in Newcastle.
Yeah, this is quite... and I like the atmosphere will be absolutely buzzing as well. This is pretty good.
It is a good one. I don't know. I think we should go. I think it's a good one. I think we should go. I think we should go. Actually,
It'd be quite fun. It's quite fun. I guess another thing is it's quite adjacent. Newcastle's quite adjacent.
It is adjacent, and you know what? It's dirt cheap in comparison to like Edinburgh. I'll tell you that, man. I could fucking buy half a Newcastle, to be honest. Fuck Christ. You know what I mean? Do anything for a fucking sausage roll there. You know?
Right. I'm not quite sure what you're insinuating, but I think it'd be a relatively like quick kind of do it as a dash.
Mm-hmm. I think you could do it as a dash.
The dash to Newcastle.
Smash and dash.
The dash to the cheese.
Dash to the cheese. I think you could actually. I think you probably could. So yeah, it's something, I don't know. I think we should contact Mr. Eddie Hearn. See if we can get some tickets.
We'll give him a shout.
Yeah, give him a shout. So I think that's a nice little thing to look forward to in the winter. Actually, also I don't know if you've seen the videos of Ricky Hatton at the weekend.
No.
People are worried about Ricky Hatton because all these videos came out of him absolutely smashed at the weekend, man. He was battered. He was absolutely battered. He's like dancing around fucking belly out and stuff, man. People are worried about his drinking. And it's like, you've never worried about his drinking before. Why are you worried now? He used to do it between every camp.
Fight anyone in a week.
Exactly.
Exactly. What was the context? Was there any context? Was he in like was he in public or was he in a
he was in public. He was in public. He was just out on a night out.
Like in a bar or something?
Yeah, it's just out on a night out.
Right, okay.
Getting smashed.
I don't know.
Like Ricky Hatton does.
I don't know if it's potentially that much of an issue. I wouldn't. I suppose if you're going to go out and you're going to be Ricky Hatton and you're going to get Stephen drunk, you do know it's going to go on the internet like there.
No, I know, of course. Mm-hmm. And
nice.
Also, the youngest of the Furies has vowed to return to the ring after his stint in Love Island.
Did he win?
Second. No, he came second. It was a surprise, actually. It was a shock defeat, apparently. Shock defeat.
Is that a good result? Like, is second... I mean,
it's not...
you get a prize?
Well, I think the prize is the bird that you leave with. I think that's the whole thing. I think it's supposed to be...
What does the bird you leave with get? What's her prize?
Tommy Fury. That's her prize. Poor bitch.
That doesn't sound a great surprise.
It's not a great surprise, not if you ask me. So yeah.
Okay.
There's that.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, I've got a couple of things. Things to flag. This could easily slide into. It could have slid into what the F went wrong. So remember, we said quite conclusively that based on Prograis being very upset with Camosa, that was it. It was off, and we said, well, there's absolutely no prospect of this being redeemed now. This isn't posturing. 100%. It's off. Well, apparently it might not be. There's some chat going on that potentially this can be back on for a UK. I think October's been banded about a possible UK October date for the World Boxing Super Series Super Lightweight Final. So we'll see, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's the end of August now, nearly. So like, is it going to be October? I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, it's like, unless they've both been pretty much in camp the whole time, but...
Yeah, exactly, yes. You think they would want... I don't know. Piece of news that I like is our boy Julian Williams, J-Rock, is standing firm. Remember we talked about him before when he dethroned Jarrett Hurd? And he was saying that if anyone wants to fight him, they'll be doing the 3 months in advance, full-on VADA testing as a condition to face him. So he's reiterated this, saying he's going to do the rematch with Hurd, but it'll be proper, full-on VADA, and there's absolutely no deviation from that. But he was saying, he wasn't saying it as in Hurd had any objection to it, because I think there was VADA testing for the first fight, but he's saying, just to be clear, 100%, we'll be doing it again, and if I win, I'll be doing it ongoing in my career. So he's drawing attention to the issue. Not only is he adhering to it, but he's drawing attention to it, so good for him.
What a lad. What a lad.
We like it. Championing the cause. There's also the Golovkin-Devyachenko fight that we talked about as being kind of on the verge, has now been confirmed for October 5th at Madison Square Garden.
Yep. And apparently this is all related to him being signed by Matchroom. So
yes,
I think they're trying to line up a Triple G Saunders fight. Which I think if I'm Triple G, I fucking take that fight, to be honest.
Do you? I don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't if I think so. As the same comments apply, but probably even more so for Golovkin. I think Saunders is a nightmare, and he's not got much profile outside of the UK, so I don't know.
But we haven't seen it. We haven't seen any Saunders. This is the thing. We haven't seen any Saunders. Where is the Saunders?
Where's the Saunders? Where is he?
Where is the Saunders? So
we'll see who he fights first off. Relating to the fight that's coming this weekend, the Kovalev Yarde one, Kovalev's come out and saying, this is at the pressers for the fight for this weekend, getting asked about the Canelo fight. You know how there was chat about him fighting Canelo. So he confirms that he did turn down Canelo, and the issue was not money, probably was, but he's saying the issue wasn't that it was money, but it was that the offer came too late in the day, and that tickets had already started to be sold for his fight versus Yarde. So not only would he have had to pay Yarde a massive step aside, but also they would have lost, they'd had to chuff people off and reimburse ticket sales and stuff. So that's, he said, I've already committed and it's my homecoming kind of fight, so I wasn't in a position to then renege on that. So he's saying that the Kovalev offer was not, the issue wasn't the money, it was the timing. Which, I don't know, if you're already you're a few weeks out from a fight and someone says you want to come and do another fight, I guess more often than not you're going to say, well, look, I'm already committed to this fight, we'll fight afterwards. So they're going to resume conversations about that fight, assuming and only if he beats Yarde.
Yes. Interesting.
One last thing to flag, because everyone's been talking about it. Joshua's caused some headlines this week with the release of his documentary.
Yeah, when he's speaking to, what's her name? Is it Anna Woolley? The Skybird.
I think it. Skybird, fucking hell. Is it not Woodhouse?
Woodhouse, that's it. Woodhouse, yeah. Woodhouse, right.
The one she always posts her work, her gym routine.
Yeah. She's a fucking tank.
She's a gym monster.
Yeah.
And she's an absolute gym monster. She's crushing it. Yeah. But when he's. So he, for anyone that's not seen it, he calls Lennox Lewis a clown.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And not in a joking way. He's being dead serious. He's a clown. Which, I mean, I think he could have maybe phrased it more constructively, or offered more context, rather than saying he's a clown. Obviously, Lewis is a bit of something of a treasure, because he's the greatest heavyweight of the last. Well, it depends what you like, but the last certainly while. But he's obviously, Lewis is very vocal about criticising the current heavyweight crop, or giving his opinion on the current heavyweight crop, and a lot of the time about what he would do differently. Joshua was particularly taking exception to Lewis telling him he needs to change his coaching team.
Yeah.
So he obviously, I think Rob McCracken's something of a father figure to him. So I think that just seems like it's completely. He's obviously upset at the prospect of people telling him that it's what he should be doing. So he's kind of I think lashed out a little bit. but it certainly caused a lot of a stir, and I think most people are kind of going, well, you're not really in a position to say that because like your career versus his career, etc. But that's not really the point he was making. It was more about his attitude and stuff. Anyway, certainly he's brought lots of attention to the yet to be confirmed, although it's been confirmed, fight he's not having with Ruiz in a sanded boxing ring on the outskirts of Saudi, or the outskirts of Riyadh.
Yeah.
Which has still not been confirmed from one of the two participants, which I would have thought somehow puts it in doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is, I think that if you understood the context of that, then you'd probably you understand why he called him a clown. But like there was really no context in the way that it was done. Do you know what I mean? Like we know that Lennox Lewis is constantly criticizing Anthony Joshua like left, right, and center. But if you don't understand that, then you'd be like, why is he calling Lennox Lewis a clown? What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes him like a sort of disrespectful young pup, a young upstart. But the reality is that it's within the context of Lewis kind of jibing from the sidelines for quite some time, but being very vocal. Yeah, which he has been, certainly on Twitter.
Yes,
true that. So I think that's about it.
Right, well then, do you want to tell me, Andy, what grinds your gears this week?
You know what really grinds my gears?
Do you know what, Ryan? I will tell you what grinds my gears. I thought I could have gone some different ways with this. I'm going to combine two because they're only little ones, right? Mm-hmm. And they both relate to prominent heavyweights, prominent current heavyweights. But they both have a current theme running through them. And this is, I think, boxer delusion. This is from the Amir Khan School of Reality Management.
Interesting.
That Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have both separately engaged in. Tyson Fury, talking about Otto Wallen, has been saying about how he's the best opponent available, and his justification for this is saying that he's ranked number 4 with the WBA, I think, the same rank as Ortiz is with the WBC. So he's saying, therefore, Wallen is as good an opponent as Ortiz is, therefore he's a very good opponent, therefore the criticism that everyone who knows anything about boxing giving me that I'm fighting yet another absolute spud is completely unfair. And he's using that criticism, but at the same time saying, I would have had a better opponent, but there aren't any better opponents available. So hold on a minute, you're saying your opponent is fantastic, but he's not that fantastic because all other guys who are even more fantastic wouldn't agree to fight me, which is probably a load of nonsense. So,
but we've said this as soon as the fight was announced, he's going to start bigging up Wallen. He's going to big up Wallen the whole time, talk about how wonderful he is. Like, this is just the way this shit works. When you pick a shit opponent, and this seems to be the way that Tyson Fury works with pretty much every opponent he's ever picked since he's come back from retirement, he bigs them up. You know, Pieman Pianetta. How dangerous did he mention Pieman Pianetta was? Right? Do you remember that? Fuck,
it's dangerous if you've got a tray of pies in front of you.
Totally. You know, like it's shit like that. You know, and do you remember as well during the run up to the fight with Deontay Wilder how much he just there was a love-in. Do you remember the love-in they had for ages and ages and ages about how wonderful each other were as fighters and blah blah blah? And I kind of think that that's the kind of converse because they both knew that the other one was particularly dangerous, so they could fall back on. Well, everybody knows how good they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True. So I think he needs to. Well, it's annoying me. I don't think he should have been given this many gimmies. I think when he took the Wilder fight, it was like, oh, fine, that was like, you were taking a punt because you clearly were not you're not peak condition. You weren't in the same condition you were when you beat Klitschko. And that was fine. But you can't now have had 2 fights against people that are not neither of them are top 50 boxers, which is just about, is utterly absurd.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
It's just as well he fictitiously does have the lineal belt as opposed to another one because no one would accept him fighting, he wouldn't get two voluntary defenses in a row fighting these kind of level opponents. And but I mean, the governing bodies are to blame, obviously, like the WBA are to blame for putting guys like this high in their rankings with absolutely no justification for doing so, because it then gives Fury the soundbite, "Oh, I'm fighting a guy ranked number 4 with WBA," which, if everyone knew that that's meaningless, then there'd be no point in them saying it. But because not everyone does know it's meaningless, they think, oh well, maybe he is all right. He must be all right if he's ranked number 4 with a body. No, he's like the 100th best heavyweight in the world. And very quickly, the other one, Deontay Wilder, in a magazine interview with GQ, I think, said, "This is me. I'm not paraphrasing. I'm quoting." "And I've defended the WBC title 9 times. I'm in with the greats now. You know what I mean? I'm up there with the greats."
Fucking hell.
He also talks in the article about how some people have padded out their records and haven't fought enough good quality opponents. I'm like, you cannot be saying that with a straight face. Wilder's two live opponents are coming back from a 3-year cocaine alcohol binge Fury and a 40-year-old with high blood pressure. Those are his two standout victories.
It's ridiculous.
One of which he lost, and the other one of which he won by a hair's breadth. But he's up there with the greats.
He is up there with the greats. He is definitely up there with the greats. Yeah.
Gee whiz. So anyway, that's what grinds my gears. The heavyweights residing in the Amir Khan School of Reality Management. That's it.
Okay. Well.
So that's me. I'm spent. I'm done.
You're done. Okay.
Would you like to tell me this week, Ryan? Is there something this week that is grinding your gears?
You know what really grinds my gears?
All right, Andy. It's just a little one, but it is grinding the fuck out of my gears. Okay, right? And it's Tommy Fury. Okay, so what he's saying is that he's going to take at least a year out to pursue Love Island opportunities. Right? So he's going to take a year out of boxing before, to go through all the Love Island hype and then get back into training for his next fight. Right? What the fuck? Okay? Okay, he's only had 2 fights, and we must remember they were against complete absolute diddies. But, he's 20 years old. So if you think about guys who are 20 years old, they're going through, trying to build their careers and stuff like that. I don't think Tommy Fury has a particularly big amateur background like his brother did. And I just think, what a fucking waste of talent. Do you know what I mean? He could spend, because not only, that's not just a year out of the ring, probably partying, most likely doing a bunch of cocaine and shit like that, right? Spending most of the time in Ibiza. But it's a year where he's not actually training, so his conditioning will go to shit, he'll have major ring rust and stuff. If you're not serious about it, he's saying I want a British title, I want a European title, all that kind of shit. And it's you obviously don't, right? And I think that this is the thing. I think he's a kiddie on Fury, actually. He's the kiddie on Fury. We've got the shit Fury, right? The mental Fury, and the fucking, and I don't mean that in a depression way. I mean he's just fucking cuckoo, and he's just cuckoo and speaks so much shit. And then we've got this one. We've got the entitled Fury.
That's a great way to describe it, though. That's exactly how he's behaving if he's doing that. I mean, it's sort of disrespectful of the people that dedicate their lives to something, show a lot of grit and determination, that he thinks he can swan in and swan out of a professional sport and still be successful at the age of 20.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, he's late to really be doing his kind of professional fights. He's only had 2, and they were absolute gimme fights. You know, they found people out the back of the hall to fight him. So, you know, either say, okay, actually, like, I'm not that serious about my boxing, or actually, I'm going to buckle down and try and see if I can do anything better, you know, than just fight these two guys. Because, like, obviously he's got massive connections in the thing. So, like, Frank Warren will just bring him into whatever card he wants, you know.
Yeah. He's got it all set up for him. Yeah. Like if he was dedicated, but yeah, clearly he's not that focused on it. And I think probably I think I'm assuming what you're suggesting, which I would agree with, is that come the end of the year, surprise, either he'll go back and he's shit, or he won't bother going back.
Yeah, totally. I think that's probably the case, to be honest.
I don't think you do this and then end up being like the world champion. I mean, it just
not at all. Anyway, it's that waste of talent that is grinding my gears this week. So, let's just do a little bit of listener corner. Thank you, all our listeners, because we are climbing up those iTunes rankings every single week, boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's great.
Started at the bottom, now we're here.
At the top,
Started at the bottom, now the
you know,
whole thing's here.
And we global. Argentina, Norway, US. We going everywhere, man. And if you are our Argentinian listeners, please give us a shout out, man. In Espanol, it's not a problem, right? We can translate. It's no big deal for a couple of guys as educated as us. It's no problem, man. No, nothing. You know. Do we need to do a Spanish version of the show?
Oh, that would be great.
It'd be really funny.
That would be great.
We could actually probably quite easily do a French translation version.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, I'll leave that for you to organise.
Right.
Very happy.
It'd basically just be like my girlfriend repeating what both of us say for an entire hour. She'd be saying in French, she'd be saying, this bit with Ryan and Andy was very funny. Bit in French. They're talking about some Scottish colloquialisms, but it's very entertaining. I'll explain them to you at the end of the show. Yeah, totally. Can you imagine? Oh, that's really funny. It's really funny. Right. So cool. On that note, we will be back next week with more super special shit for you. But it is goodbye from me, Ryan.
And goodbye from me, Andrew.